Welcome back for a new edition of Pickups. As always, hopefully everyone is having so far a good 2024. With that said, we are looking at a bit bigger ones this time around, as this is a Wii U edition. First up, we have Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games, which is definitely, though it may not be the better game overall, it is definitely the more sought after by collectors. As you get a decent amount, variety at least of different games and stuff. Interesting seeing them playing football and things like that. Next up we have Paper Mario Color Splash. Which is a superb, great game. Definitely, well, by specific people, this is definitely one of the more polarizing Paper Mario games. We know pretty much everyone loves 1,000 Door. However, Color Splash is more of an acquired taste game, I would say, in the series. Personally, I don't see anything wrong with it, but I know there's a lot of hardcore, like old school diehards of the Paper Mario series. Next up, we have one of the core and one of the few indie games that got a physical release on the Wii U. And that being the double pack, the Steam World collection. Of course, we have Steam World Dig and Heist. If you haven't played any of the Steam World series, I would actually recommend checking it out. Personally, I like it. Definitely has its own very unique feel to it compared to many other platformers in the indie sphere. Next up we have Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. Now, this is definitely on the higher end difficulty-wise of Kirby games, but if you are a long-time Kirby fan, I would recommend checking it out. Plus, of course, as you see there, you get some special stuff if you get the specific amiibos. Mennonite, which is actually one I would not mind getting my hands on. Well, what I like about it is just the art style it goes with this game. It helps give this a very distinctive look. You're not going to mistake Rainbow Curse for any other Kirby game, because it looks more like everything is like made out of clay or Play-Doh, and that is actually kind of cool. I definitely dig the unique art style, and that's allowed it to definitely differentiate itself from the rest of the franchise as a whole. But if you've never played Rainbow Curse, I do highly recommend checking this game out if you can. Second half, first we have Game & Wario, which is definitely, probably not necessarily one of the best Wario games out there by far, but so it has its own unique, definitely mini games. And yeah, as you see there, 16 gamepad games that are specially designed strictly for the actual touchpad, which is awesome. And I appreciate that. It's too bad more games did not use the actual features that the touchpad offered. Game & Wario is one of the few games that actually did use and implement elements. Next up we have Shakedown Hawaii, which is definitely one of the bit harder to find games. I believe it was the last official Wii U release for the Wii U, which is interesting. Now, if you like, say, 2D style, like the early First Light 2 2D or the advanced series of, well, I would say specifically games such as the 2D era of GTA. This is definitely something to check out, plus it has a great soundtrack. And I do dig the classic 2D down art style and everything. Definitely interesting. And a cool little one to get a hold of. Now, from what I understood, it is starting to go up, so if you get a chance, try to get a hold of Shakedown Hawaii. But I already have a digital, which is why this one will remain sealed. Second to last, we have one that for some reason, well, I can't figure out why this game is so hard to find and stuff, as it's just a movie tie-in game off of Turbo, Super Stunt. Yeah, it's weird, really weird one. And the game isn't even necessarily that great, but for some reason it is like pretty hard. You're lucky if you can come across it. I looked out and found it at GameStop, but you're not always going to be that lucky to find this game. Last but not least, the big one, Devil's Third. If you know anything by now, you know definitely it's probably about the most sought after game on the Wii U as a whole. It doesn't have any super distinctive art style, though it definitely has a somewhat interesting look about it and stuff. Sadly, you can't really use the online multiplayer features anymore, unfortunately. That was interesting, even includes support for a keyboard, which is interesting. But yeah, Devil's Third, of course, was also, had the involvement of the original, really, I guess you could say, main man of the DOA series. Specifically, though, DOA 2 and 3, he had very heavy involvement in, obviously, given he's a big old school rock fan and stuff. And you definitely hear that also in the music and stuff in this game. It is a crazy, violent, bloody, gory game, which is kind of rare on the Wii U and in general for Nintendo, but nevertheless, now if you are specifically collecting Wii U, of course eventually you have to get a hold of, just be very patient and wait till you can find a reasonable price range, and then immediately try to get hold of it. Me, I waited very patiently for quite a long time. But just keep that in mind. With that said, that is it for February edition. With that said, stay safe out there. See you again. Same YouTube time, same YouTube channel.